California, here I come, right back where I started from. I'm going back where bowers full of flowers bloom in the sun. There each morning right at dawn and birdies singing, everything a sun gives me said. Don't be late, that's why I can hardly wait. Open up that golden gate, California, here I come.
Spring break's over. Time to get back to work. It's season 2 of Huell's Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris.
I'm Alan.
And here we go.
All right, you ready for this?
I guess. Before we get started, let's talk about something. Our spring break travels.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Well, this was an actual spring break for us. It wasn't just a spring break in name. Because we're in school. We're school boys.
Yeah. True.
Alan's almost done with high school.
Almost. I'm getting there. So close.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I'm the ASB ballroom manager.
ASB. But yeah, you went to San Clemente.
Okay, so the way you said that is technically not correct if you're from Southern California. Well, certain parts of Southern California.
What you got to say, San Clemente?
San Clemente. Just like that.
Dude, it's named after an actual person.
I know.
It's Spanish. You don't say Clemente.
Okay. I think it's how you differentiate who's from there and who isn't.
All right, whatever.
Like when you go, this is something that I was slapped in the face by going to the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
It's not San Rafael. It is San Rafael. You kind of just blow.
San Rafael Bridge.
So sick.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I don't like it, but it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, Kathleen was noticing Bakersfield, you sort of have a twang going on here. You put the wrong emphasis on syllables.
Yeah.
And one of those words that Kathleen noticed was a boutique.
Really?
It's boutique.
Yeah. Who says boutique?
I say boutique. My mom said boutique. And when I say yahoo.com,
oh.
it's not Yahoo. For me, it's Yahoo.
Yahoo. Yeah. No.
So
I wasn't born here, technically, so I guess that doesn't...
Oh, right, dude. You're born right down there. Is it Orange County, right?
You always say that. It's not Orange County. It's Torrance.
Oh, I always think you're born in Orange.
South
No,
Bay.
Kathleen was born in Orange.
Come on, dude. I'm not married to you.
Okay.
Yeah, so you went to San Clemente.
Yes.
And I went to Pismo.
Mm-hmm.
Pismo Beach, home of the clams.
Nice.
Well, not anymore. There's clams there, but, endangered, all that stuff.
Yeah, well, in San Clemente, I'm going to go with the Bakersfield saying how we pronounce it. Although I feel like I'm betraying my in-laws and family down south. Mm-hmm. But, no, we just went to the pier, hung out. We got Bear Coast Coffee, which is a pretty cool coffee place.
If you say so.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else we did. It was just a good time hanging out with family. We were on the pier, got fish tacos. And I was looking for Nixon's Ranch because sometimes you can see it from the pier. His Casa Pacifica.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. It was kind of fun. It was overcast that day.
Whatever. So. Yeah, Aaron and I went to Pismo. It was her birthday. We were supposed to go to Cambria, change of plans. Went to Pismo.
Did you get any cinnamon rolls?
Bro, of course.
Okay.
If any one of you follow our Instagram page, which y'all should, you'd see that we did a little update, episode 2 update. I showed you the cover story of the San Luis Obispo New Times. The Pozo Saloon is back.
We got to go.
We're there.
We're gonna helicopter in.
We're gonna copter in with the other
some 80s garb.
With the what was that? With the rich bikies.
Let's do it.
Yeah. But I did get that in front of Old West cinnamon rolls, the best cinnamon rolls this side of the Mississippi. I don't know if that's true, but
they're pretty good. I mean,
good.
you thought they were so good that instead of a wedding cake,
I had a wedding cinnamon roll tiered cake
which
shaped
was
thing.
super good.
No thanks to, yes, thanks to you guys for picking them up on the way in.
Yeah. Wasn't there a story where I ate one off the ground?
Yeah. You thought that we only had a finite amount.
Right.
And so you really wanted seconds, but thought, I don't want to be the guy who gets more. I don't want to be a fatty. And then I think it was my stepmom dropped one on the ground.
Yeah.
And then you thought, here's my chance. Turns out there were like 4 more boxes back in the back. So, yeah, you ate a floor roll. Whatever, it's probably good, though.
It was good. It was super good. It takes a lot to make those not tasty. So,
yeah.
Speaking of tasty, there's some tasty music.
Are you talking about our theme
for
this
this
week?
intro? Oh, yeah.
Oh, are you talking about Mother's Delight?
Oh, I called it Mama's Delight. I took the wrong notes.
Mama's D?
Well, I got Mom's Delight, Mama's Delight, Mother's Delight.
Yeah, Mother's Cookies Delight. Yeah, the barbershop quartet, like a true barbershop quartet in name and sound alone, because they certainly don't look like they're in a barbershop whatsoever. I mean, they have the matching clothes. I don't know how they all found this, like, very nondescript collared long sleeve neckerchiefs
on,
and those floppity hats. But
did you see that is an original LA Dodgers flippy floppy hat
in the special edition mustard yellow?
Anyone listening to this, you got to check it out.
That's the baritone Mother's Delighter in the mustard yellow. But yeah, that was a good theme. The only other quartet we've had was that beauty shop quartet back in Tule Lake.
Okay, if we were creating a bracket for intro music.
March Madness is over, dude. What do you do? We
No,
got to get a new bracket going?
Next year, we're going to do a bracket. We're going to put Mama's Delight.
Yeah. Next to the Tule Lake Sizzle Sisters?
Against the Sizzle Sisses.
Sizzle Sissies?
Who would win?
Well, the Sizzle Sisters come with accompaniment. There's that piano player.
Right.
So there's that. But these guys, they got a swagger to them.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, there's the one guy who kind of looks like Brother Love, too. So
Yeah.
He's got that connection going. But I don't know. We'll just have to see.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the Sisses.
All right.
But whatever.
Yeah. I say we get into this episode.
Let's just get in there.
Yeah. So, Huell, tell us all about this place.
It's a celebration that takes place on and around a bridge. And this isn't just any old bridge either. This is the Bidwell Bar Bridge. Originally constructed back in 1856, this was the first suspension bridge west of the Mississippi River. It was built by John Bidwell to serve the townspeople of Bidwell Bar, the site of the second major gold strike in California. Ironically, just as the bridge was completed, Bidwell Bar began to lose its population, and soon it was almost completely gone. And then in 1964, the river was dammed up to create Lake Oroville. So to save the original historic suspension bridge, it was dismantled and reconstructed on its present site in Bidwell Canyon on the south end of the lake. Well, there's no water underneath it now, and it's no longer technically a suspension bridge, but it has been saved.
So, this intro here, it starts off with Huell on the bridge that he described in the clip. Now, you notice something about his walk.
How would you describe this? He has some major, well, for lack of a better phrase, I want to call it, would you call it a gangster walk?
A little bit. I mean, he's definitely got. He's still maintaining the good posture.
True.
So, but it is.
And he has boots on, not Cortez's.
Yeah. So it's definitely it's a walk with a purpose.
A purposeful walk.
Yeah.
That's more wholesome. I like that.
But it is a good walk.
So much so, the first thing it reminded me of was if there was a Titantron and a ramp, this would be a WWF. Oh, sorry, WWE.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Dude, I'm old. I haven't watched it in many years.
You need to get the F out. Yeah, it certainly has a Stone Cold Steve Austin-esque swagger to his walk. We even put the music together, and it fit perfect.
Oh, every step. Dun, 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 dun.
Ooh, wow. But as you heard, we are at Bidwell Bar Days, which is pretty funny because it's a festival all because of this bridge. Mm-hmm. And you heard all about it. The Bidwell Bay Bridge from 1856, the first suspension bridge west of the Mississippi, and then the town just disappeared.
Well, yeah.
And then they didn't even need this thing, and it just sat there till 1964 when they made well, they dammed the river to make Lake Oroville, which has been in the news as of late.
They reconstructed it.
Oh yeah, is that what they were doing? They took the bridge apart and then they brought it over to
just plopped it back together
into Bidwell Canyon, which is funny because you'd think it would be over Bidwell Canyon already, seeing as it's the Bidwell Bar Bridge.
Right. You were noticing this while we watched it, the first screening of this episode. There's a lot of music.
There's a lot of bands. There's like 4 different musical groups in this segment, because there was the Mother's Delight, and then right after Huell leaves the bridge, we come to this bluegrass band.
Well, I refer to them as master shredders.
Yeah, these guys know how to play. I feel like a bluegrass band, you never hear a bad one. Mm-mm. And they've got to practice so many hours to get this good. But then as we continue, we get past the bluegrass band, and then we hear a little marching band of like 4 people play for a few seconds, and then we're on to this kind of like
octet.
I get it's just this,
8 of them.
It's like a grandma band, and they're all in period clothes. And the song didn't it give you the impression like at any moment it was going to get kind of raunchy? Because they're kind of just like,
because their hands come out and they start shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you never know.
Their little mime act they do. But it doesn't. It stays PG at least. But after we leave the granny band, we head over to what's like the arts and crafts area of the Bidwell Bar Days. And we meet a woman who is making what she calls oak piece dolls.
Do you feel that she has a passion for making these dolls?
She doesn't even know what they're made of. These are just oak pieces, she says.
When Huell asks her a question about the material with the dolls, her first thing is she thinks for about 3 seconds, and then she gives up.
Yeah.
And she gives a response, I don't know what they are.
I just know that they turn an ugly brown in the winter. But Huell, like he does, gets grabby and grabs one of these dolls off the table. But of course, he doesn't grab one with the little red dress that's being put on it. He grabs a naked doll.
Right.
And it kind of throws the woman, and Huell realizes what he's done. And he says, "Oh, it's got no..." And then she throws in, "It's got no clothes on." And Huell just snickers and looks at the camera.
I like that. This is the second time that he's in the Salton Sea episode, the Spring Break episode.
Mystery
we
show.
get another one of these Huell looks. It is sort of, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
It's definitely like breaking the fourth wall down, where he just kind of like looks at you like, "Can you believe this? Can you believe what's happening here?" Then we switch over to this like, it's like this tin banging craft. I don't really know. They're making it looks like backsplashes.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he described him as, the man who is leading this. But there's this group. If these kids aren't related, I don't know what to say. Because
that would be wild.
They're wearing matching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle t-shirts. And matching homemade Lakers hats. Now, homemade meaning...
like trucker.
Yeah, it's like a blue and white trucker hat with just paste-on letters. Lakers. That's it. Hey, what team you like? Lakers.
It's blue and white.
Did you notice, though, that one of these brothers obviously is more favorited than the other because one of them has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt where it has the red
Yep.
writing above Turtles, and the other one, just Turtles.
The knockoff tee?
What happened here? Because they're like the same graphic, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about the Lakers hats. Do you think this looks like a Little League baseball hat?
You think that's what this is?
I think it is.
Okay.
I don't know. I hope not.
No, that makes sense.
Because I feel like when I used to play baseball, there were these definitely second-tier designed clothes that we would wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, you paid $40 for the season. Come on.
Plus, I mean, that was kind of always the thing with Little League is it's just whatever team is hot of any sport.
Right. Something I did do when I was a kid, I loved the Houston Rockets, which
Okay.
I don't watch basketball at all anymore.
You just like Hakeem?
Okay. You just hit the nail on the head. I named our red cat Hakeem Olajuwon.
He was good.
That was a good team. Clyde Drexler,
Yeah.
Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon. I almost forgot.
It's not their fault that they were around during the age of Michael Jordan. And
Right,
they got
true.
Usurped, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Dude, that was a fun time.
Yeah.
I even bought the Gary Payton the gloves that zipped up over the laces.
Oh, man. Those are rare shoes. So from Backsplash Boy,
Backslash.
He's a website. We go to, so it's some kids kind of grinding up some acorn mash in a mortar and pestle thing. And you hear this lady kind of describing this fact that you didn't believe it, really. Like that was a
Which
thing.
doesn't sound plausible when you first hear it if you don't already know.
Yeah,
I would fact check her for sure.
If you bang the mortar too much, it'll like create little gristly bits, and then it wears your teeth down. And that was a thing that happened with the Native Americans in that region. Says this lady whose voice you're hearing, and then they switched to her.
She's wearing a cape.
Okay.
Or
In my notes, I wrote Native American facts from Miss Cleo. Because she looks like a psychic, like a TV psychic.
that's true. Yeah.
And when she lifts her hand up, she's got fingerless gloves on, too. Like,
Is this period clothing?
what period? At what point was?
When was Miss Cleo hot?
When was fingerless gloves ever a good fashion?
Okay.
What
There may be
Diesel?
people listening to this that wear fingerless gloves.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying like
At what time was that?
was that like a overarching trend?
I don't know.
Exactly.
So then we get to see another band.
Well, this is the marching band. I think.
Yeah, sorry,
They're-
to see the marching band again.
They're
that's right.
they're tuckered out. They stopped
Oh, for sure, the guy in the front banging the tambourine.
banging. That's you're getting loose with the facts here because
he is tapping.
homie ain't banging.
He's tapping the tambourine on his quad,
Yeah,
barely.
and the tambourine is a loud instrument, but you can't even hear it in the mix. But then Huell pops over to do some crowd interviews, and I think we got another time traveler here. Mm-hmm. Because he comes up on this older gentleman, and Huell asks him, "So do you like this music?" And he says, "Yeah, I like it. This is what I grew up with." Now, you got to check the episode because this music sounds like it's from like 18.
Yeah.
Like it is not at all what this guy. Like, I'm sure this guy was probably born in what, like 19, 30
40
something.
I'll say 30s because this is 1990, early 90s. Okay, yeah, we'll go 30s.
So what? He was hearing music in the 40s and 50s. So yeah, there was like big band jazz and stuff, but that's not this.
No, not a single homemade bass thing with one string.
It was like an overturned wash basin with a stick on it and a piece of strings that like a Looney Tunes cartoon. It's like green, green, green. He's time traveled.
Right, but he also refers to this kind of music, which maybe is showing his age. He refers to it as foot pattern music.
Yeah. He ain't lying, though. So from here, we are leaving the bandstand, and we're going to the gold panning little exhibit that they have set up for the kids. And right off the bat, your eyes are struck right away by this neon jumpsuit this girl's got on. It's like a floral pattern, kind of an all-over print. It's not even quite a jumpsuit. It looks like overalls.
Overalls, yeah.
Yeah, it's like neon floral overalls.
I thought it was a jumpsuit.
I thought that the shirt was connected.
Oh, I see.
But it doesn't look like it is. But it's good. There seems like a lot of neon color in this grouping. I wish we could see some of the graphics on these shirts better, but
It's obvious. We obviously have two surf shirts right here,
yeah.
but can't tell what they are.
I mean, it's early 90s. This is the surf
Look at that.
surf craze.
Is that an Ed Hardy shirt?
Gotta be, right? Maybe like a colorful affliction.
Oh,
What's
nice.
going on back there?
Yeah.
So then Huell goes to do an interview with one of these kids, and I think he may have made a mistake on who to choose.
Well, this was probably the first and last interview with the kids. Unless this was the best one. Think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's all he gets. He keeps asking this little girl, "Oh, have you done this before? Do you like it? Do you find anything?" The same sound of yeah. She is
just one word answers.
She's in the yes.
The final interview is with Jim Davis, the park ranger.
Mm-hmm. Also in period clothes.
Period clothes. And there's not much to this interview, except that he's a sneaky educator. You notice he said
he
that?
slips the info in.
He just slips it in there. He said real sneaky-like. And that's kind of
all he's got.
That's all he got, yeah.
And that kind of wraps up Oroville, which is funny because Oroville's got a lot more history to it, but I guess this bridge is what caught Huell's eye. But he said, like, by chance they roll through town. Like, come on, Huell.
I don't know. I feel like they reach out ahead
You just
of time.
happen to be rolling through Oroville. Like, I know you're going all over the state, but I'm sure it was a plan.
Yeah, but I think that's all Oroville has for us. Which, Oroville, when Huell says Oroville, that's the most southern thing I've heard him say on the show so far.
Oroville?
Oroville.
Yeah, he misses that second O in there.
Well, I think that's all Oroville has for us. Big Huell dog, tell us where we're going next.
Continuing our gold country adventure, we said goodbye to the new friends we'd made at Bidwell Bar Day, got on good old Highway 49, and headed south and a little east to the historic and bustling town of Sonora in Tuolumne County. Now, just about every place we visit has a local landmark that everybody in the area knows about. And that's the way it is in Sonora, too. In fact, their local landmark is almost impossible to miss because it's right on Highway 49, right in the middle of town. And on top of that, it's red. Now, technically, it's St. James Episcopal Church, but around here, everybody simply calls it the Red Church because it's always been red. Now, it was built back in 1860 when the gold rush was in its prime by Reverend John Gassman, a young man originally from Norway, who believed this raucous gold mining town needed a church. And it's been here right in the middle of town ever since.
All right, so we're in Sonora now. So I know a lot about this place. Have you ever been here?
I've been to the outskirts of Sonora once.
Okay.
Because my first car that I had was an Opel GT. It's a very rare car that GM ended up producing in the late 60s, like 69, into the 70s. And a major aftermarket supplier of Opel parts is located in Sonora. Opel GT Source.
Okay. Well, that's a rare reason to go there.
Because even when we drove there, it was through not the woods, but it was not.
It's up there.
Yeah.
I haven't been there, but my wife Erin did work at a summer camp there for, I think, 2 or 3 years. So she spent a lot of time here, and she remembers, her and her friend who she was up there with, remember this red church, but never went in it. Which we don't go in it in this episode either. I don't know what's going on inside that they want to keep secret.
Right.
But that's what this whole thing is about. You heard kind of the history of the red church or St. James. And it's a big red church. Like, it's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's Norwegian design.
Yeah.
There's 8 sides. Just trying to
add to it.
Trying to add a little bit.
Because Huell's he's really only asking one kind of single question throughout the segment. Why is it red?
That's the $64 question.
That's what he said. And finally he finds someone to give him an answer, and it's because, well, that was the cheapest paint around then. Just the red oxide paint with, what do you say, mulberry in it or something?
Yeah, he said something about lead, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you notice that when Rod came out, so he's Rod Garside is the person that Huell's interviewing. He's just a church member.
Yeah, that's all. He's just
Nothing.
parishioner.
Yeah, just
nothing.
Just a bro hanging out in the church.
But I guess he knew. He had every answer, including the $64 answer.
Did you know that he's actually related to Dustin Hoffman?
I don't believe that at all. He does kind of look like him. It's interesting that Huell seems to be so interested just in the color of it, and I guess it makes sense because in the next part of the segment he goes over to Jamestown, which we've been before.
Not Jonestown, right?
No, not Jonestown in Guyana. That's a bit dark. Jamestown was where we went in the second part of our trains episode.
Which, I mean, this church is named St. James. Jamestown? What do you think?
I say we look it up.
This is amazing.
Well, that was a disappointment.
Well, it's...
Nah, I'm just kidding. It's not disappointment. It's just not... We weren't right.
Yeah. No.
Jamestown was actually named after a guy who came from San Francisco, and he was a colonel, George F. James, which he just popped up a tent.
So started selling stuff.
Right near Woods Creek, dude.
That's all. I mean, that seems to be the main thing that all these towns are named after. Like, hey, who's selling us our stuff? Oh, James. Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Well, it's Jamestown. Oh, we gotta feed these cattle. Where should we go? Colonel Baker's Field. Oh, let's call it that. Stupid town names. Whatever.
Well, General Baker was kind of a cool guy, right?
He's an interesting guy. Yeah, we've learned a lot about him.
Because he helped found Visalia. He was accused of, treason, sent to Alcatraz. And then just when he came back, because it was a false accusation, he said, man, forget this place.
Yeah.
He just left Visalia, founded Bakersfield. And look where we are.
Well, not just founded. He kind of transformed the landscape.
True.
And made it...
Yeah, he did he bought the government was selling land in the area, and if you could improve it.
And that's what he did, because this whole area that we live in, which is funny because people come through here and they think, oh, this is like a desert. Which, no, it was swampy before. It was
actually Kern Island.
Yeah. This whole area where we're currently in, which is like downtown Bakersfield, it was a small island amongst this marshy land because there was a confluence of rivers that occurred, and there were lakes that would come and go during the summer and winter and all this stuff. And he basically just diverted water and, oh, look, all this land and all these cattle can just eat this grass. And
he was very friendly. People would come through.
Yep.
Give him a pig. 50 pounds of grain.
There you go.
Peace out. So thanks, Tommy.
He's just hanging out with his old friend Julius Chester.
True. Yeah, the convention center is on his old property now, right?
Yes, but now, remember we were just doing the walk, and they say that maybe it wasn't there. It was over in Old Chinatown, over by where the Huell ambulance lot is.
Yeah.
You know, this is super Bakersfield-y stuff.
Okay, sorry, everyone.
This is what you got to do for your town. Like, every town's got its little history, and we like ours. We learn ours. Learn yours. And tell us. We want to know. We can only do so much work.
Yeah.
But, again, we're in Jamestown, named after George James. And the reason we're in Jamestown is because Huell is at an art gallery. An art gallery who is showing nothing but pieces of the Red Church. So, it's a pretty good idea. I mean, you have this landmark. Let's expound upon this. And the lady in charge of the art gallery, she seems to really feel strongly about this because apparently there's a whole it's a art movement going on there.
Yeah, well, there's a whole school of thought, according to her. Right?
Yeah. She said that if you're an artist in Tuolumne County, you have to do a piece about the Red Church. It's a school of thought.
The
Red
Red Churchians?
The Red Churchian school? I guess so. Well, I get. What does that mean for us then? If we have that, if we had something like that, it would be like what the Beale Tower, the Beale Clock Tower,
the Clock Towerians.
Clock Towerians. That's stupid. I mean, it is on our debit cards.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, it's a cool thought, and there are some cool pieces. Some are more interesting to me than others, but that's art. That's how it goes.
So, for the most part, Huell leaves the art alone.
As you should,
As you should, right? He's just admiring the paintings. But I'm guessing this happens a lot with sculptures. He picks up what looks like are praying hands from our angle.
Oh, yeah.
He turns it to the side, and I thought it was a person putting two thumbs together shooting.
Yeah, it looks like a gun hand.
Yeah, it's just the
little hand game from when we were kids?
Well, he'll think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, you put your thumb and finger together, and I guess it's the church and the steeple.
Open the door.
And heel just flips up both hands.
All the people. These big old mitts are flying.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he shouldn't have picked that up.
No, you don't touch the art.
Don't pick up art.
Well, if anyone could pick up the art, Heel could do it. But I'm sure that's generally not recommended.
He is a picker-upper.
Yeah, he has a tactile personality.
There you go. I mean, he is often like touching a shoulder and up in people's face and stuff. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So,
but that's it, right? It's just Red Church.
Just Red Church.
Just Red Church.
Nothing fancy about the paint.
Just red oxide. Sorry, Sonora. You just got a Red Church as far as this episode's concerned.
Maybe we'll come back and find something.
Well, I'm going to be going through there this summer, so I'll do a little travel report on that.
All right.
But for now, let's hit the open road again. Huell, bring us on down the road.
Now, we had to leave Sonora right after church to drive 5 miles over to Columbia, another little gold rush town in Tuolumne County that's chock full of history. You see, they discovered gold here in 1850, and almost overnight Columbia became a boom town. In fact, at its peak, over 5,000 people lived here, and it had over 150 businesses. In almost every sense of the word, Columbia was a typical gold rush town. And what makes Columbia so special is that today it's almost exactly like it was back in the 1800s. Recognizing an opportunity to preserve a wonderful part of our past, California created Columbia State Historic Park back in 1945. And today visitors can wander its streets, poke around its buildings, and see firsthand what life was like back then. Now all of this is nice, but we were in Columbia to attend a very special event. It took place outside the St. Charles Saloon, and it was a flower show of sorts, with all kinds of interesting arrangements. In fact, there were people there from all around just to see it. But this was a show that was a little bit different, because you see, actually it wasn't really a flower show. It was a poison oak show.
This is more of like one of those kind of roadside oddity kind of things that I like that Huell goes to. Mm-hmm. Red Church, cool, okay, but the Poison Oak show. This is good.
That's good.
And as you saw on my little preview thing on Instagram, if you follow us, we're going to be crowning a king. The Poison Oak King.
The Poison Oak King.
Of Columbia. The Colombian King of Poison Oak. But first, we're going to talk to... This lady kind of seemed like she was in charge, right?
She had an official tone to her, yeah. I'll go with that.
I mean, Denise Kerner, she's a sponsor at least. I don't know if she's like fully in charge, but she's got all the info, and she is another person who is going to feel the wrath of Huell the picker-upper because he decides that it's okay to pick up they call it a bonsai, which not quite. It's like it's poison oak clippings in a piece of driftwood that's nailed on a board next to a taxidermied squirrel wearing like a bucket hat kind of a thing.
The bonnet.
Yeah, like holding a sign, like a little heart-shaped sign. It's so weird looking.
It's $5.
Oh, I want that.
Is it worth it? Yeah.
It's worth the risk of the poison oak, which Huell kind of seems afraid of, right? Like, it's a healthy fear of poison oak.
Right, yeah. Something Huell's not afraid of is the color orange. You see this shirt?
Maybe he was hunting or something. Like, that is a bright shirt.
Maybe.
Or he's just ahead of his time and knew that the bright orange was going to be cool like 10 years later. When Fred Durst was wearing those...
You popped the Dickie pants on?
Those Dickies.
Oh, man.
But after he is picking up that squirrel thing, we meet the king. We don't have a name on the king. He needs no name. He's just our king. He's also got the coolest shirt of the episode. It's a 1990 Earth Day commemorative kind of tourist shirt. And I love it. I wish I had this shirt. Mm-hmm. I wish I had his cool style, too.
Well, didn't a person on Instagram...
Yeah, one of our friends on Instagram...
Baby Chico.
Yeah, he said he said that he used to have this in his possession. And he let it go? Bro, what are you doing?
So this haircut the guy has. My dad, he rocked that haircut from probably 79 until he had no more hair.
So it wasn't a conscious choice to change the hair?
No, it's just like that feathered swoop back. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's the hair atop which the poison oak crown sets. Mm-hmm. And this guy is daring because he just picks that right up without hesitation. And Huell is flipping.
No, don't do that.
What are you doing? He kind of goes out of frame, like Louis goes in tight on the king, and you see Huell's hands like, no, shaking at him. But we don't stick with the king long, and then he's not in the background anymore. He's just gone.
No.
I guess he had to get back with his entourage and head on out. But Huell talks to some other folks.
Get to meet Mr. Dry Humor.
Yeah, he's
kind of like passing off that he's almost deadly allergic to this stuff as a joke.
And then Huell, he was like, oh, well, you better run away. And he just pushes him away. I think Huell's over it. After him, we get this woman who Huell has to continuously pull into frame, which she seems afraid of the poison oak, which you should be. But, like, did you notice what's in the back of the shot, the background?
It's a Pee Wee Herman doll.
Why is that there?
It's a big one, too.
It's like the 18-inch model.
Yeah.
There's nothing else remotely like this. It's all kind of like rustic stuff. And then just sitting there is a Pee Wee Herman doll. And you think that would be kind of the weirdest thing of this segment, but
no, the next guy.
This guy, man.
Which we don't get a name.
No.
But we get a lot of information about him. Really in single bursts.
Yeah.
So he asked him where he's from, and he said, I'm just going to say the burst of things that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Eureka. Highway 101. Redwoods. Oak. 100 feet high. That's really.
Now, if you think that doesn't make sense, hearing him say it with Huell talking doesn't help.
The only thing that makes sense is when he's replying back to Huell about his idea.
Even that's a little weird.
And he just said, that's an idea.
Oh, well, that's an idea.
He speaks in facts.
101, Redwoods. 2 facts.
Yeah, it reminds me that...
Oak, 100 feet high.
We're done with him pretty quick, though.
I wish that we could have got more with this guy. I mean, he doesn't even look that interesting. I mean, he's just kind of like a middle-aged guy. But
he drove down from Eureka.
For this Poison Oak
close.
Fest. It's weird. But then...
Do you feel like we're getting some mixed signals on how contagious poison oak is?
Very much so. Because Huell's being quite cautious because he's obviously... Well, remember in the rockiest episode when he was up on Morro Rock, he said he had to go get some liniment.
Right.
To take care of his poison oak. So obviously he knows the feeling. And so he's keeping a good distance. But yeah, some people say, oh, you can touch the leaves, just don't crush them. Then the oils don't come out. Oh, wait, so you can touch them? Oh, yeah. Then a couple people later, we got a windswept Willie.
Which, if you're...
Explain that one.
If you're watching this,
mm-hmm.
the first thing I thought of, we were watching it together, it's like he got out of the shower.
Yeah.
Then he got on a bicycle and went down like a 50-degree hill.
It just went like
as fast
80
as
miles
possible,
an hour.
and his hair just dried behind him.
Yeah. Because, yeah, he's just kind of like a guy. He's got kind of like a white polo shirt on.
So we just referred to him as Windswept Willie.
Yeah. But he's like given some very heartfelt warnings to Huell that this stuff is potent.
If you inhale it,
you get it. And that's like total opposite of what the lady before was saying, where you could just touch it as long as you don't crush it. But no, this guy, it lets off a vapor. I don't know if any of this is true.
I don't either, but he'll ask some laser beam questions.
Yeah.
Well, it's all around us.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get it? And the guy backpedals a little bit. He's like, no, this isn't really around us.
No, this is nothing. This is nothing. So he's like playing this sensationalism game with Huell, and Huell just cuts him right down to size. But that's what we like Huell for. He doesn't sweat the small stuff.
No. And as we saw when he was walking on Bidwell's Bridge, he doesn't
He's-
take nothing from nobody.
He's stone cold. Stone cold Huell Hauser.
Well, that about wraps it up for the Poison Oak Festival.
Yeah. And it's a quick little thing because obviously there's not like a lot going on. But I liked it. It was a good little segment.
Yeah. Did you like the band that played song on the outro?
Oh, our outro song. Yeah, you'll be hearing that. I did, because it's another kind of like bluegrassy take on it.
It's a horsey Opry, right?
Yeah, the Horse Opry of Columbia.
So I could only look at the lady, that mural that's painted on the bass, the stand-up bass.
Dude.
First of all, she's shredding and singing, and the bass has a really cool mural.
The funniest thing about it is they're in Northern California, Gold Country. The whole point of this episode is what this episode's called. Yet her bass is painted with a huge mural of like Arizona Southwest motif.
Yeah, like I feel
There's
like if you look
cactuses.
really deep, you see Cody Lundin in the background.
Or like when Beavis and Butthead ate the peyote in the desert. I have a feeling she's not originally from here, but she's taken to the area quite well.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of wraps it up as far as the body of the episode.
Well, you would think.
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 But something's missing.
Yeah, this episode doesn't have Huell's exit narration
Yeah.
that he normally gives. Strangely absent.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, in the
Yeah,
middle of Horsey Opry's
They
rendition,
cut him right out.
he pops right in, right?
Yeah. And all of a sudden he's just waxing on about Highway 59 and how it's some rare highway, and you're thinking like, oh, we're getting a little bonus segment. Cool. All right. What's he got? There's nothing.
This was the outro he forgot to do.
Yeah. You can tell that they were in the car. They're like, all right, dude, let's go home, man. I'm ready to go home. Oh, no.
What, Huell?
Dang it. Forgot to do the outro. Whatever. Just get the camera. Just do it right here. I'm not stopping. Just get me while I'm driving.
Exactly what it is. It's funny.
Because, yeah, he throws out the come along with us next time line while they're just going down the highway. Like, obviously away from Columbia at this point. But it's good scenery, and that's what he's talking all about.
Which is some of our favorite scenery, so it looks like we share the, same landscape. The love for the landscape as Huell had.
Yep. And he throws out the search for California's gold line. We pop back over to the horsies, and that wraps us up.
And that about does it.
That about does it for us on this one. I like these Northern California ones. They always kind of surprise you. You think like, oh, Gold Country. What, he's gonna just look at some old rivers and stuff? But
No, it's
no,
good.
it's
Good stuff.
But we have some events coming up. You heard us talk about it before. It's a big deal. It's our chance to go meet Luis Fuerte, author of My Time with Huell Hauser, cameraman for California's Gold for most of its time. Well, a good chunk of its time. This is the man himself right here. He was here during this episode that we've just been talking about.
Yeah, I'm sort of interested to see him speak.
Yeah.
See what he has to say.
So we're there, right? We're going.
Yep. Next Saturday, April 14th, from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Valencia Public Library in Santa Clarita.
That's right. I wonder, do you think he's going to like take questions and all that stuff? Because
Maybe.
I got some stuff I want to ask
I think
him.
you should just bring a few questions in case.
I'm going to do it. And I sure hope he signs my book because I want to get that thing autographed. I hope that everyone listening and everyone who isn't listening comes to this event. Let's mob the Valencia Public Library to the point that they shut it down. Hopefully,
Well, after he
Yeah.
speaks, yeah.
Everyone come. We'll be there. We'll be
there. We'll be square.
Yeah, be there or be square. We're not squares. I
Well.
mean, we did just spend an hour talking about 90s T-shirts, but whatever. It's fun.
Yeah. So there it is.
There it is. Hope to see you there, and we hope that you come along with us next time as we continue our search for Huell's Gold.
California, here I come.